सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धे भवतु मे सदा वसुदेवं सुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं हरि ओम. Yes.
Hare Om.
Can someone recollect what is it that we saw last? So from the link and move ahead. Yes, please. Yes, please. Anything that you saw. We are introduced to the three gunas. Hope you can just look at them. Brief revision. We'll immediately go into the next look.
Hare Om.
Hari Om, sir. Namaste. Yes, sir. Ramesh ji. Would you like to share, sir? Yes, sir.
Bhagavan Krishna states that he will narrate the supreme wisdom, the best of all the knowledges, which the sages, after knowing them, they have attained some supreme perfection. Fixing in this knowledge, one is not born at the time of creation and not disturbed at the time of evolution. The total material substance is called the Brahman and is source of the birth originating from the supreme source. Krishna is the seed giver, seed giving father. There are three types of gunas: Satguna, Rajaguna, and Tamoguna. And living entity comes in contact, he gets conditioned by three modes. Basically, Krishna defines all the three gunas. Satguna, Rajguna is born out of unlimited desires, longings, and passion. Ignorance is because of all the delusion in all the living beings. Satguna is the purest form of all the gunas. And when in the mode of passion, attachment, and uncontrollable desire develop, then ignorance creeps in, inertia, darkness are all manifested. And when one is in the mode of goodness, he would reach the Brahmaloka or always the pure form. This is what we learned yesterday.
All right, sir. Yes, indeed. So tamas is darkness, tamas is delusion. The problem of this tamas is we don't realize we are trapped. So the problem is when you are not trapped, when you are not sure you are trapped, you'll never want to become free. And this is what happens most of the time. And if you see the gunas were introduced once more in the Gita, previously also. Anybody remembers the connection of the gunas with Maya? Do you? When Maya was introduced in the Gita, Maya is something which is engulfing every living one. Sadhu is sadhu, sannyasi, grihastha, every living person is many times trapped in the flux of Maya. How we can escape also is there in that shloka, and the functioning of Maya is also described. But there was some connection with gunas. Does anybody recollect that? Devi, Yesha. Anybody remembers the shloka? If not, all right. Devi, Yesha, Gunamayir, Maya. Maya is getting functioning through the gunas. One more it is there. Mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Unless you cross the wheel of Maya, you will not realize the truth of the divine. But Maya is functioning through the gunas. So there, sometimes we are having limitations of the gunas also. And these gunas become a hurdle for giving us the supreme realization. The divine is missing or invisible in our lives according to our perspective because of the gunas only. It is nothing else. So here are the three gunas which I have introduced: Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. So what happens in Sattva? Well, you can get realization as you walk quiet or slowly ahead on the path. The best chance of receiving the higher consciousness, the best chance of receptivity, it is when you have Sattva Guna. Then Rajas Guna is only causing greed, desire. I want this. I want this. By hook or crook. Then comes the other aspects, and all the dirty aspects start entering inside a person. It spoils anything. And roses are beautiful, but the thorns are pretty harsh, isn't it? We want a rose without the thorns. Maybe not for the rose. Rose requires it according to biology. I mean, botany plant has been given that protection. But in our relationship, we don't need to have the thorns, isn't it? In our everyday life experience, we don't have to suffer. Suffering is not necessary. But that happens because of our attachments. It happens because of Rajoguna, a restless need to do something. I am doing it. I have to do this. Many people feel they are only running the organization. Why? Because desires, isn't it? I have to show how important I am. I'm going to run this organization. Suddenly, a lot of force comes in. After a while, that person becomes tired also. And then suddenly, for some reason, when the person is out and the organization still functions without the person, immediately the question comes, what is it? Many times we have that feeling that we are doing all of it. Well, that is Rajas. Rajas is creating that strong feeling that I alone can do it. What about Tamas? Tamas is that it is a trap, is what Krishna said. So the person in tamas, they engage in actions of importance, futile actions, meaning nothing is going to come out of those actions. You know it, there's no need to do it, and yet the person keeps doing it. It's some sort of a routine. People get trapped in a tamasic routine, it is said. In everyday life, no? We keep getting trapped. This is the nature of tamas. So we have to break that mold. We have to come out of that also. These are the three gunas. Krishna goes on. He says, Urdhvam gachanti, Urdhvam gachanti satvastha, Madhye tishtanti rajasaha, Jaganya gunavrittistha, Adho gachanti tamasaha. So all the ones with sattva, Krishna says, the embodied ones in sattva, upwards ascend. Those in rajas remain in the middle, but do not descend. While the being of tamas is inertial negligence, in a soul's journey, only sink in further decadence. Sattva is going to make you rise. Rajas is going to allow you to move ahead, but it is only as long as you have the fuel. And that fuel is what? Ahankar. As long as that functions, sometimes it will help you, but then you'll soon run out of the fuel because Manavi Ahankar is very limited, isn't it? Prakriti is known to break and shake a person completely. All ahankar that we have, we do it or you'll be forced to do it. You'll be forced to let go of it after some time. Because that is our limitation as a human being. But a Rajasic force does not realize it. But tamas, so Rajas will go a little ahead. Sometimes they say, let there be some Rajas, at least something will go ahead. But tamas, it will not. It will just remain and it will not just remain in the middle, it will start sinking. The person will go lower and lower into further, what we can say, a decadence. In the Isha Upanishad, there is a word, there is a shloka also about something similar. Andhaha tamaha pravishanti ye ke chahatmano janaha. These ones, they go into further darkness. Asurya namate loka. Yeah, Asurya namate loka. Andhen tamasa vrutaha tanste pratyabhigachanti. So they go into this further darkness, further and further. That is the fall of tamas. So we must be wary. Let tamas guna not enter into me anytime. One question is, can we all identify when which guna is functioning? If we can, with an example, sometimes at this time tamas was there, at this time rajas was there, at this time sattva in ourselves. Can anybody share? It's easy to share sattvic moments, but rajasic and tamasic sometimes we feel, should I share it? But just randomly, we don't have to go into too details. But have we experienced these two other gunas also functioning in us? Tamas. Yes, Renaji. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I get to know that when I get up very early in the morning,
Yeah.
and again I look at myself and see that I need some more rest now. And again I go to sleep. That I feel that
Oh,
is the first, that
that is tamas. Okay.
laziness sleeps.
Yes.
And the Rajasic part, then when I am into any argument,
Ah, okay.
then I feel that I have not just put myself away and I'm not the witness of the forces which are into play. I get into that, I get trapped.
Mhm. Yes. So arguments, most of the time, most arguments are rajasic only, isn't it?
Yes, arguments I feel is the Rajasic.
Out of possession, out of attachment, sometimes attachments to our own opinions.
Yes, and
Suddenly
ego.
dialogues. Oh, I have
And
to not let go of this point. Immediate, I have to show I am correct. That
yes,
feeling comes in. All right. And sattva?
Sattva, the present moment.
Okay, when we are doing Devi Gita Dhyana, when we are doing Chintana, when we are doing some kind of manan of the divine, some kind of prayer is being said, in all those moments, the Sattva Guna comes to the fore.
It is very
So,
calm from within. We are attentive. We are
yes, yes.
we
We
are
are
invest.
that is a Sattva. And Sattva Guna is something which we can choose, isn't it? The gunas?
Yes, we can
We
choose.
can choose. We have that authority to choose. I can choose to not get angry.
Yes.
I
The
can choose
choice,
to not be lazy also.
right to
Yeah.
choose is there, is given to us.
We
Given to
have that choice. We have that choice. Absolutely. Rightly said, Ji. So that is why tamasic, sometimes philosophy also, we get trapped in tamasic philosophy without realizing. So we'll have to break that mold, but at least understand. If we know what are the pitfalls, we'll avoid them. As simple as that. So let us continue. Krishna goes on further. He says, Nanyam gunebhyah kartaram yada drushtanupashyati Gunebhyascha param vetti madbhavam so vigacchati. When the divine being attains the realization of of nature's threefold modular operation and of the Supreme who is beyond nature, towards me he turns and attains my stature. Krishna says, when the divine being attains the realization, when he gets the sakshatkara, when he gets the realization, he understands this game of forces. He understands these three modes which are at play. Are these three modes only for those who are reading Gita or who are aware of the Gita, or they're functioning in everybody, whichever dharma, whichever pantha, whichever place? It's in Prakriti, isn't it? Has anybody felt that these gunas are not limited to human beings? Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva?
yes, in animals also they are.
In animals also. Same breed dog is there in this house, same breed dog is there in another place. But here it is Rajasic, here it is Sattvic. One more is having absolute Tamasic Swabhav. It does not get up or does not move also. If the crook comes inside also, this will go on. Yes, Renu, Suresh is saying something. Yes, sir. Please unmute, sir. Please unmute, sir. I can't hear you.
These gunas depend on the DNA of a person?
No, no, they do not depend on the DNA of the person.
No.
They are the outer, what we can say.
Okay.
But yeah, even in people, in now I have a friend who's a geneticist. He says the atmosphere and sanskar also has a role on the DNA. They call it epigenetic modifications take place
Uh,
from the atmosphere. So, but this is there
some
in all of us. Yes, sir.
some inbuilt qualities which
I mean,
manifest.
swabhava. No, by nature, we
Uh,
all have a swabhava, which is a
uh,
mishram. It's a combination of rajas, tamas, sattva. We cannot say I am
yes.
100% sattvic, 100% rajasic, 100% tamasic. But by nature, somebody is born with a percentage, but with experience, with maturity, with sincerity, with tapasya, you can, as Renuji also talked about, choose your guna. You
Uh,
can choose to be not frustrated. You can choose to be not angry. You can choose to be not into sorrow or gloom. Many times we invite sorrow into our life, isn't it? Means it depends on the person. One
good.
person, there was a story when I was in school, I had heard of it. A boy was going on the road. There's a monkey on the plant, on a banana plant. And what does he do? That monkey has thrown rotten bananas at the boy. This boy has got frustrated, angry that my good uniform has become spoiled, and full day he has spent in frustration, anger at that. I will not spare that monkey, useless monkey. Full day he is doing the job of that only, and inside of him there is Rajas Guna. if we look at it from the Gita. But the same road a Sattvic Guna person went, the monkey threw at him, he started laughing. Arey wah, this monkey is throwing at me. He laughed at that moment, forgot it, did not feel he's victim or what has happened or feel any of the other. Tamasic person would be like, all monkeys throw at me only. This world is all sorrow. Every time this has to happen to me. Why me? What did I do wrong? There is no meaning to the world. That is a tamasic sorrow. But a Sattvic person was able to look at it objectively, probably laugh at it, ignore and spend the entire day as if nothing happened. Because day it's important. So here there was detachment. So here the choice is there in how we deal with the experiences. And these gunas come at they play a role. That is why like sanskaras play an important role in our life also. So same way if we can create, because when we are kids, sanskaras are created by our parents and we get them, isn't it? Through our atmosphere, through our teachers, through our friends. But as we grow, as we mature, the remaining sanskaras, we are only creating them. After 18, after 19, when we start establishing our sanskaras, we define our life experiences. This is where we have to start the unlearning process and allow the divine to give the right sanskara on us. How will we do that? When we are receptive, when we are ready to hear, not when we are closed. So there, the rajas and tamas become a problem. Rajas can help you. This world is a cruel place. You must stamp your foot and show who is the boss. So this person will become strong. But how many places can this person stamp the foot? And stamping the foot will create an earthquake. No, it will not change. How many places will this person keep doing? As long as the person has energy. And after a while, he says, how many battles should I fight? Wherever I go, I'm fighting a continuous battle. So this aspect is Rajas. Rajas has limitation, but it can help you move ahead. Tamasic would say, what is the point of stamping the foot at all? I will not allow, I will not take any decision at all. I will delay, I will deny what is right to myself and suffer because of it. That is a tamas, but sattva. So I think Sureshji, it answered your question. Yeah,
Yes.
it is a swabhava. It is a swabhava of a person.
Uh,
Yes, yes. We will look at swabhava a little bit more in detail. It comes in the later part of the Gita also. So Krishna says of somebody, of when the divine being attains the realization of nature's threefold modular operation and of the supreme who is beyond nature, towards me he turns and he attains my stature. Says if he recognizes the three modes which are in the world and recognize that the divine is beyond the three modes, beyond the three gunas, then Krishna says, then he attains my stature. Meaning what? He becomes divine. As Tukaram said, I went to see God, I didn't know when I became one. Means the next level of consciousness is reached by the individual. He rises when he is able to understand these factors of the guna. He goes on, Gunaneta naditya trindehi deha samudbhavan janma mrityu jara dukkhair vimukto amrutam ashnute. Rising upwards, the embodied soul is elevated. When from nature's triple bondage, he is liberated. From birth, death, old age, and disease, the sufferings mortal, the soul is freed and attains to the immortal. Becoming free from this itself is a liberation, isn't it? Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. Entire thing. Oh no, I've become old. My hair has become white. My hair has been. How many times my friend was complaining? The another friend came to his rescue. You are saying your hair has grown white. I don't have hair now. So now what is it? Again, does that make an important aspect? It's just a part of life, isn't it? It's a part of aging. It's just a part of a life experience, which is very normal. Why are we going to get so attached to this? Same way, Vyadhi. Why me? Why me? Why did this happen to me only? What wrong have I done? God is unfair. Life is unfair. My tube light is also unfair. Everything around me is unfair. People have unnecessary thoughts going on because their attitude comes in. But if you're able to understand, I have actually seen people with life-threatening diseases saying, thank you, God, for this disease. I mean, how can anybody say this? The person is having a perennial suffering because of that disease if you look at it from an outer perspective. But that person is not suffering. Pain is there, yes, pain is there, but I'm not suffering. Well, that is a yogi, isn't it? And this person is free, isn't it? He's become free from the suffering which comes from attachment to the vyadhi. It is a liberation only. So, like that, a person can truly become liberated. As far as what is the immortality question is there, that probably there might be this, what we can say, rules are there. Rules which are not required are sometimes amended. Rules which are unfair are broken. So there are yogis working on that also. That maybe a day will come when we'll consciously need to break this aspect also. But as of now, what can we do? We have to accept it, isn't it? Mortality. Mortality is a truth. I am living today. I will not be living tomorrow because this is the truth of life. I want to live the full lifespan. I want to try to live my full lifespan, but I cannot decide it, how long my life is going to be. This is something which we have to recognize and deal with peace. That we have become free. Because sometimes we get trapped. What is this karma bandhana? I don't understand karma bandhana. But I understand the bandhanas of my life. Every day I'm getting trapped in this cycle. This is happening. This is happening. I'm getting fights with this person. When I go there, I'm having this nature. Every day, 10 minutes or 15 minutes of my life goes in searching for some objects. I'm losing out because what is this? Again, a nature, isn't it? Ignorance, tamas is there. I'm not conscious of where I'm keeping, what I'm keeping. And that's a bandhana which I am in. How will I become free? When I become conscious. Something like that. Krishna says, when somebody recognizes this, there is something higher than the three gunas. What will you do? You will respect that. You will surrender to that higher force. And that higher force will work through you. Krishna says such a person can transcend these three gunas also. And the person is free, happy. He can enjoy the experience of human life, which is itself a miracle in many ways. Let us continue. Krishna says, transcending the three gunas. Arjuna's ears immediately pick up. What? Is it even possible? He asks this question. Arjuna Uvacha, Kairlingais Trin Gunanetan Atito Bhavati Prabho Kimacharah Katham Chaitams Trin Gunan Ativartate. What are the signs that one can see? And what are the actions of that soul free? The triple natures. How does one ascend? Oh Lord, answer to these questions, please extend. We love it when Arjuna asks these kind of questions. They're very practical, isn't it? For us, it's so useful. Yeah, what are the lakshanas? You're talking about Sthita Prajna, even the second adhyay. He says, Ka bhasha? How is this Sthita Prajna? How does he sitting, walking, talking like normal person? So like that, he asks again, Acha, there is a possibility of rising these three gunas. I recognize them. I have experienced them. So I know there are the three gunas. But how do I transcend them? And how does this soul behave? Please answer these questions. Before we go into the description of Krishna, can somebody tell me which guna was Krishna himself? Yadyat Acharati Shrestha is Krishna has only told, isn't it? Who is the best we have to follow. But then let us establish if he was real. Was he sattvic? Or was he rajasic? Or was he tamasic? Or was he something else? Anybody? Krishna. What is the guna of Krishna? Yes, please feel free to unmute.
Sattvic.
Okay, Rameshji says he's Sattvic. But there's a famous painting, isn't it, of Krishna holding a chakra wheel angrily at Bhishma. And the same person had taken a pledge, I will not fight. I will not take part in the battle. And look at that. Isn't he breaking that rule?
He has combination of all three.
Okay, Sureshji says he's having a combination. But then he's also bound because all three are bound, isn't it? Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva. Okay, so Sureshji has said a combination. Rameshji has said Sattva. Yes, Renuji?
Beyond everything, because he was not attached to anything. He did his
Okay.
without any attachment.
So he was not bound by his sattvic nature also. Like, no, I'll not be only goody. See that incident where he holds the chakra. He says, just because I am not told I'm not going to wield a weapon and you are doing adharma, I don't need a weapon to finish you all. I can just take this wheel of the chariot. In that time, even Pitama gets the sakshatkar. He immediately So he says, all right, I'll get slain by you. It will be a blessing. It will be moksha and mukti for me. But this aspect means this is very important because people misunderstand the three gunas. Sattva is good, so Rajas is bad, and Tamas is worse. So let us all be always sattvic. Let us all be like this. There was a very famous Panchatantra story about a snake. All children were running away from that snake, and the snake felt bad. Why are these little innocent children running away from me? So it goes to the sadhu who is sitting nearby and meditating. He says, these children are afraid of me. They're running away. The sadhu says, you, and that no, the snake was known because known for its vicious nature, all the time going and always, even when it was not hungry, it would try to go and attack whichever little creature was around. So it had a reputation. The other said, no, you are always doing that, so you'll have to control. You don't have to do like that. Acha, theek hai. The sadhu has told me not to go on biting everybody every time. If I'm always biting, that is why they are all afraid. I'm always hissing and biting. So let's stop. We will become a little quiet. I'll follow this sadhu's words and let's see. Now the children know the snake is not going to bite. So they start playing with it like it's a rubber snake and it's like a ordinary, some kind of harmless thing. And so they start playing with it, and still the snake is like, no, I have to be sattvic. I'm not going to allow this nature to change. Sadhu has told me. And then the children start hitting the snake also. Then the snake gets wounded. Now the snake is got irritated. I'll go and bite that sadhu only now. So he goes back to the sadhu saying, look, what did you teach me? What have you taught me? You have taught me like this. That I told you not to bite unnecessarily, but I didn't tell you not to raise your hood. There's a difference, isn't it? There's a difference. I am calm, I am peaceful. So what, you come and keep doing whatever you want to do, and I'll remain what? Like again, Krishna told Arjuna, is it? Klaibyam asmakama partha. Throw this weakness of heart. This is a weak-heartedness. It has no relevance. Don't be an impotent in action is what he had used. Strong words of Krishna to Arjuna. Where action has to be done, it has to be done, but not in emotions. So that Gunatit state was there. Krishna was in this state which is called Gunatit, transcending the three gunas, and that is exactly what Arjuna wants to know. What is the Lakshana? Because otherwise we will still give an outer appearance and we will imagine, oh, this person is like this person is like that. Somebody may interpret that Krishna was angry. But he was not angry, isn't it? He was in full control. He had to show his might. He had to show what is right. Best example is parents know this. When they are little kids, they are born, they don't understand language. Beta ya beti aise karna nahi. You can say only when they start learning the language, isn't it? Before they learn, what do you do then? How do you tell them? You must have all experience. We have many parents in the group. So how did you teach the child? Because the child doesn't know the language. How would you teach it? Teach the child. You don't have to go this side. Don't hit. Don't get hurt. Because you have to teach the self-preservation is important. It has to be taught to little children. Yes. Did you not invent your own language? Yes, Renuji.
Think I would leave.
Yeah, you invented an own language. Somebody, maybe the spouse looks at it, what long, no, funny noises you made. But the child understood that, isn't it? Oh, this is not right. I can experience anger. It should not be like that. Though you are not very angry or frustrated from inside. Yes. So this aspect is there. So there is something which is required. Sometimes unknowingly we do follow a little bit, but Krishna says become conscious. What is this real Gunatit state? Experience it. Because when you experience it, the difference between human and divine, that line is there, no? Very strong line. Like people have the habit of drawing lines everywhere. Material, spiritual. This is material, this is spiritual. And Krishna's job is take eraser and start erasing that line. So like that, between man and divine, ordinary life and a divine life, what's the difference? Two hands, two legs, they will not change, will not start levitating, will not have wings or anything like that. Instead, our consciousness will make a difference. So that line has to be erased. Gunatit is when you are transcending these three gunas. So Krishna explains, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. Shri Krishna said, O Arjuna, Sattva's enlightened mode of action. Rajas is work impulsion. And tamas is delusion. He who neither detests nor shirks away, nor desires these vehicles of nature in any way. As simple as that, Krishna is saying. What we see, calmness towards all three gunas. The enlightened mode of sattva, the rajasic work impulsions, or the delusion of tamas. He who neither detests, there's no dvesha. Dvesha should not be there. Hatred comes in, it is again you're getting attached. It's a negative attachment, isn't it? Hatred also is what? Something you don't like. So it's an opposite end, but it's again another attachment. So that should not be there. Who neither detests nor shirks away. I'm too sattvic. So what will I do? I can only pray to God that the world will change. But if people are going to come and attack your home, attack your family, attack your ideals, will you stop defending yourself? Will you not pick up the lut and stand? Don't you dare move inside. Will that Rajas force not come in? Yes, it should rise. It should rise at those moments. Otherwise, there's no point. Arjuna has to feel that force, isn't it? Only the limit should be there. Where is it? Is it in control or is Arjuna controlling it? Like we had a discussion on wild horses. You tame the wild horse, isn't it? Then you can use it. Otherwise, the rider is going to fall. Some of the best, very strong people also have fallen from their horses and got permanent injuries because they couldn't control. It is as simple as that. This Rajas is also, the mother called it vital horse. Vital is something which has to be, these emotions, no, which come, these feelings. It's called a vital. We have a physical being, we have a vital being, we have a mental being. So we'll have to contain all of these, is what Krishna. So is what mother also says. Shri Krishna also says the same thing, that we have to tame. So Rajas's impulse has to be stopped, but it should not be completely eliminated. Otherwise, what's going to happen? You will be taken for granted. Most families, this happens. The one who is quiet, the one who is peaceful, that person is the universal punching bag. Why? No reaction. I know. Remember the story of the snake? You don't have to get frustrated. You don't have to get irritated. But you must not show that you are a walkover also, isn't it? Why are you inviting? You are inviting trouble to yourself. And when you are being unjust to yourself, that is also something which should not be tolerated. Yeah, if you just like you don't like anybody else experiencing suffering, how can you tolerate suffering for yourself? So that should be somewhere, that line must be understood. So Krishna says, who understands that these are vehicles? Chalo, theek hai. I have a cycle, I have a motorcycle, and I have a car. These are three different vehicles. What do I use with that? Okay, cycle I will use for helping myself move. I will not be able to travel very long distances, but it will make me strong physically also, isn't it? Healthy, I'll become healthy. I understand its plus points, I understand its minus points. Same with the vehicles of modes of nature. Rajas, what's his plus point? What is the plus point of tamas? You know, the Shiva's trance has descended into Bhuloka as tamas. The trance of this Shiva, of Shiva's in meditation, if you can just imagine Shiva meditating, that great depth, that has descended and probably slightly got distorted and it has become tamas. But we need rest also, isn't it? Or just because I am lazy, I will not sleep. Can we do that? No. Gudakesha, maybe Arjuna is our hero. He could have done it. He did some siddhi, he got some sadhana. He got some siddhi by his sadhana and he didn't have to sleep. But I think all of us have to sleep. Sometimes it is important to rest also. Sometimes recognizing the need for rest. So that is required. That much tamas is all right. Where you are recognizing and getting a good quality sleep. Most of the time, quality of sleep only is having a problem. Nowadays, people have a issue called Nidra Nash. I mean, earlier it used to be not so simple. Life was much more simpler. But now so many complications people are bringing into their lives. We are creating this this psychosis also inside is born by the atmosphere and atmosphere which is created by the individual. So here, Rajas, Tamas, Sattva, Krishna says recognize these three as three vehicles. Are we very attached to our? Yes, Suresh is saying something. Yes, sir.
No, sir.
No. All
Sorry.
right.
I
No
tried to
problem.
adjust. Sorry.
No, it's fine, sir. It's fine. It's fine. Yes, sir. So these three vehicles. I have a wonderful bike. I have an excellent motorcycle. I'm very proud of it. But can I say I am the motorcycle? Can I say I am my motorcycle? It's just, it is a part of me. Maybe it was an extension of me. When I was in college, they would say my motorcycle is my girlfriend. They would tease me because I'm not leaving it wherever I go. But the fact that this is just an extension, it's something I am different from it. I am driving the vehicle, isn't it? I am deciding where I have to go, where I have to travel in life. So who is this I that is deciding is something we must understand. Ko so hum. The question must be answered, and these three must be looked as vehicles. चलो ठीक है, सत्व is going to be a vehicle. I am choosing today. अरे पेट बढ़ रहा है, थोड़ी साइकिलिंग करनी चाहिए. ठीक है. जल्दी जाना है. I'll take the motorcycle. But it's going to rain, so I'll take the car. Isn't it? Three options. Something like that. Sattva, Raja, Tamas, which vehicle you are going to choose today? Let the Aradhya give you the wisdom to decide. And at what moment, what is required? Sometimes it's very essential. Little moments when you take the right step, right action, then we can say divine can work. And it is said, when you are having dvesha, divine cannot work. We saw it in the Vishwarupa Darshana also, elsewhere also. And then desires, anger, frustration. Divine cannot work. So those moments are not ours of the gods, because it is only in the calm that the divine works. So bringing that calmness will allow you to take the decision to take which guna which you want to use. Number one is neither having a attachment, neither having a resentment. Both stay away and learn how to use these vehicles. Recognize that these are vehicles with different properties. That is all. Krishna goes on. उदासीन वदासीनो गुणैर्यो न विचाल्यते गुणा वर्तन्त इत्येवं यो वतिष्ठति नेङ्गते. He who remains firm and witnesses quietly, seated well above the triple modes nonchalantly, knowing all occurrences to be in sync with nature's way, detached and immobile, he observes the forces play. Krishna is saying such a person who understands this is the nature. Why is this person speaking unnecessarily? Why is this person cranky? Why I don't like it? It's all right, I don't like it, but that's nature, isn't it? That person has is Rajasic Swabhav. That's the answer. Why is he like this? It's Rajasic Swabhav which is working in that person. The person is not controlled. Why did he speak like this to me? That was because the force of Rajas entered inside. It's like our bodies are only homes for, like, we go looking for homes. These forces are looking for homes. Which force is working through us? Only problem is we sign rental agreements and then we start going and living inside. These are what we can say encroachers. They enter without our knowledge and create a lot of drama in our life and then go away. Instead, if you are able to just quietly take one step, nonchalantly observe all three forces. Acha, Rajas aa raha hai. ठीक है. Eat popcorn, watch it. I'm not allowing it to come inside. Then many times you'll see if it doesn't enter into you, it will enter to somebody else. In a group, in a meeting, no? The forces, if you are actually conscious, you can see how the atmosphere changes. And suddenly Rajas is trying to enter here, you just quietly, okay, not here, not here. The darwaja pakka hai, closed. You cannot enter inside. And suddenly somebody else in that aspect changes there. So if you are a Gunadit, you can actually change the outcome of things also. You'll be able to understand which Rajas has to work where, which Sattva has to work where, which Tamas is where, what is required. Thoda shant ho jao. You can even advise sometimes when you recognize which force is required, which is not required. But for that, the first thing is again, same. Gita is talking about only one thing every time. Detachment. Become one step behind. English word is very dull, detachment. But in Sanskrit, asakta is one word. Another word for it is mukta sangha, free union. Means you are free, united with the divine consciousness, yet you are free also to choose what you want, and you will not choose wrong at that time. But there are so many words. Asanga, asakta, mukta sangha. All these experiences are there only when you are having that ability to not completely react to the outer circumstance. Instead, with one step, you can watch the forces at play. Many times, if you see, Rajas person is not speaking now, Rajas is speaking. That time, will you go and give Brahma Gyan to that person when the person is talking to you in Rajasic force? No, no, you must understand the philosophy and all of that. When the person is frustrated, what will happen? You'll take your philosophy, throw it into the dustbin. I don't need any of it. But the same person, when the Rajas force is subsided, what you were telling me was very wrong. Don't you think that is not correct? Will you not ever? Why do you do this? Do I have to listen to all of it? The same person would suddenly become like Asura on one side, Deva on another side. He's listening. Oh, right. I'm very sorry. I should not have done it that time. I recognize my mistake. As simple as that. Only when Sattva Guna is there, Krishna could teach Gita no? To Arjuna. When Krishna says first time, Klaibyam Masma, don't be important in action, how does Arjuna react? He says, Katham Bhishma Maham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudana. How? How can I? There is Bhishma. How are you asking me to fight? These are my reverend people. What was the force there? And force against whom? Force against Krishna. But it was Rajas. And Krishna could understand. That is why we saw Krishna giving a smile. He recognized that this Rajas has to be eliminated. So the smile of Krishna was enough to bring Arjuna down. Ki chalo yaar, my force is not working, nothing is happening. But Arjuna was not aware of it. So like that, the gunas function through us. Most of the times we don't realize it. We'll have to become conscious. One of the ways Krishna says is just move one step back as if you're from a higher level. Watch the three gunas. Understand it's in sync. Tamas guna. And see, we eat curd rice. Everybody, suppose we change the session timings to afternoon and everybody is compulsorily given curd rice. What will happen? After the lunch, everybody will have yawning only, no? Continuously, this drowsiness will be there. Why? There is a guna. There is a guna dharma of what we can say anna with dadhi or rice with curd. It causes a relaxation and causes a sleep. Soporific action is there. When you recognize it, then you'll understand कि चलो ठीक है अभी तो solution. This is not in the yawning, it is actually in the pattern which has to be changed. Let the diet be altered now. So you'll be able to identify, you will be able to look at exactly what's the issue. What's the issue? How do you solve it? So the same way to understand the three gunas, you'll have to take one step behind. That's what Krishna is saying. Witness, become Sakshi. Sakshi Bhava is said to be one of the most important part in sadhana. Become the Sakshi. You are the witness of all events in the life. You're not the only actor. You are a witness. If you can experience that, you'll be able to easily, go into the higher state. He goes on further. He says, Sama dukkha sukha swastaha sama loshtashma kanchanaha tulya priya priyo dhiras tulyanindadma sanstutihi. Says, who dwells in the self, who dwells in the self, poised and still, in both joy and sorrow, who remains tranquil. Stone, mud, or gold, all as one he treats. Praise or blame, friends and foes, alike he greets. So such a person, Sama Loshta Ashma Kanchana. This is something we saw before also. A yogi who is detached is able to see objects with oneness, whether it is clay, whether it is gold, whether it is stone. Oneness is something, and understanding its value is something, isn't it? If all are one, we just say, yes, gold is equal to stone, and you agree. I'll just tell you, please, this is my address. Send all the gold, I'll replace it with stone for you. No, it's not the case, isn't it? Each has its value, a place. But for gold, can I be sold? Can I, as an individual, be sold because of my desire for gold? No, it's not. Same way, clay, where you have to use clay, you have to use clay. You cannot use gold there also, you can't use stone also. Somebody will say, no, no, but with gold, I can buy as much clay as I want. Go into the desert with 1 kilogram of gold and you stand there for an entire day. At the end of the day, if somebody says, I'll give you 1 glass of water in return for a kilo of gold, will that person who's saying gold is so valuable say, no, don't give me water? I'll rather have the gold with me. No, at that point, there's a kala, there is a paristhiti, there is a context. So everywhere it is important. This person understands just for this, for just for a little bit. I can't be bribed like that. I'm something more. I'm not so cheap. I'm higher. I'm not prey to these forces. I will try to rise beyond the pull of these forces. That is the sakshatkar that a person needs to have. Only then the person can go ahead. So he's able to be quiet. He's able to be quiet at what? In joy also. And in sorrow also. In joy, sometimes you can be quiet. But in sorrow, how difficult it is. We have a tendency of wailing, crying. Sometimes some people have an attachment to sorrow also. Means something happens. Sometimes tragic things happen in life, then they get so attached that they forget the entire future of that person or the present. A very senior doctor I came to know, he loved his wife a lot. Unfortunately, she passed away. From the day she has passed away, this person has got attached to sorrow so much that now the person is looking like a cloud of sorrow wherever he goes. Now, what about the children? The children must see the sun, isn't it? The children should see the light, isn't it? The sorrow is, yes, it is true. Love is true. Love will not die. All these facts are true. But how can you get attached so much to that that you are going to forget? You're going to forget the present. You're going to forget your duties. If the father does not smile, will the child learn to smile? How will the child learn? So here, this person will have to eat the sorrow also, isn't it? So sometimes you have to have a balance, even in sorrow. Difficult moments come in life, difficult moments will go, but we have to understand to remain calm on the inside. It's difficult, but I think that is why it must be attempted. Low aim is a crime, isn't it? And Krishna gives us the highest aim to realize what is divine, realize divinity inside of us. So he remains tranquil in both moments. Praise or blame, friends and foes alike he greets. Same thing with praise also. You are a great person. I am going to give you an achievement award or greatest person award. Fine. So you get attached, happy with that. And the same person who is giving you award tomorrow says, no, no, that award was given wrongly to you, or no, you're not so great. That award was for this category, and it was my grace that you received the award. You get frustrated. Who is it? How dare he speak like that? I am so great. Why is this person? Because you are getting attached to the outer evaluation, isn't it? Nobody can evaluate you. Who is there on this earth who can evaluate? Can I be better than somebody? Can I be more accomplished than somebody? No, as an individual, I am what I am. My this habit of comparing, which we have been, that is also a sanskar which has been created in us. We cannot be better than somebody, just as we cannot be worse than somebody. We are what we are. We can be better than what we are today, and we can be worse than what we are today. This is where we have to understand. But getting attached to praise, getting attached to blame, that's a big problem. Praise or blame, treat it with samatha. Samatvam yoga uchyate. It's all right. It's all right. If you can tell that to yourself, it's fine. You'll be able to move ahead. Friends and foes also. Friends also. I have so many friends. I don't have any enemies. Sometimes people take pride in that also. And then they jinx it, and then an enemy is born. And then, oh my God, I have this enemy. What did I do wrong? Then they try to get sympathy from somebody else. Again, all these factors we have to eliminate from our life. Friend, foes, praise, blame, sorrow, joy. Keep that tranquility. Krishna is saying, if we're able to keep that, let us go on further. We'll see. मानापमानयोः योस् तुल्यास्तुल्यो मित्रारिपक्षयोः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी Gunatitaha sa uchyate. So Krishna created the ground and now he's describing this is the Gunatita, the person who is balanced. He says, to him, honor and insult are just the same. He's able to take them with the same samatha. Honor, insult. The factions of foes and friends, another zero-sum game. In all his work actions, his desire for initiating has ended. Mortal nature, such a being is said to have transcended. Honor, insult, it's the same for a person. Factions of foes and friends, a zero-sum game. Can somebody tell me what is the zero-sum game? Anybody has heard of it? It's a game theory. Yes, Aditi ji, you are nodding. You would like to share something about it? Anything. We don't have to go into the details. Just understanding something about it. Zero-sum game.
I've just heard it in
Heard
a,
of it.
I don't recall what it is.
Okay, in a movie, somewhere they have used it. All right. Karthik ji,
Like
You
you
were
do
saying
something and something
comes back. Counter means you have
acts it, and it the resultant is
balance. 5 Newton force left,
something
5
like that.
Newton force right. So back to the same, is it? Okay. Karthik ji is saying something? Yes, sir.
Zero sum game is where, for example, if one person loses, then the equal amount is lost by the opponent also. So
Okay.
it's a loss on both sides,
It's neutralizing, isn't
or
it?
a win-win on both sides.
Yes, yes. It's like now you're in a business, isn't it, sir? So you invest, say, 15 lakhs and you recover 15 lakhs from the business. So it's like a zero sum game, isn't it? What you have invested, you have got. So something like that. So it's like that. You're treating your friends and foes also as a zero sum game only. Chalo, theek hai. Dear friend walked away because I spoke the truth. Instead of being frustrated, disappointed, heartbroken, it's all right. It's all right. Another friend will come into your life. You do not know. This is something very difficult. It is difficult to do, but Krishna says, foes and friends also. Arey, my enemy got eliminated. Don't rejoice over that also. Who knows, tomorrow two might come in the place of this one. So instead, remain on your balance. One example I can think of is Damliji only. This was long before I joined him, probably when I was just in school that time. Damliji set up his Ayurvedic unit in Pondicherry for manufacturing, inspired by principles of Mother Shri Aurobindo and all. He came here and started in 1988. And one young student from the ashram joined him. He was the manager, and everybody knew him that this boy has worked with him for so long, and they were all, it was like a pair. They would say Ram Lakhan ki jodi, like that, always together. Suddenly one day that person quit after so many years. And WJ had invested so much of time in him that everybody knew him, and they said before he met him, after what a big transformation had taken place. And when the news of his that person leaving came, senior sadhaks personally came. Kusumban actually came in the rain. She came, caught an auto to come and asking, "How are you?" One more very senior person came and asked. That time he was working with Damliji. He asked, "How are you dealing with it?" That time Damliji gave just one line with a smile. He said, ईश्वर ने बिन मांगे दिया और बिन बताए ले लिया. This is really this is what a philosophy is. This is how I actually means others were getting disturbed and he was quiet, so quiet. He said, without asking, God gave. Without telling, He took away what He gave. Did I ever own it? I never owned it. That bhava is there when you're not owning it. Where is the disappointment? Of course, disappointment was there, but suffering was not there, and balance was possible at that time. Because many times we look at things as investments. I have invested this, I've spent time talking to, sometimes, talking to friends also people term as investments. We need to talk this much to your friends. Sister was told, if you don't you don't go to this person's marriage. They asked, some friend invited her to a marriage, and then she said, I will see if I can. But now she's also busy. So she said, I'm not going to come. One more friend said, if you don't go to her marriage, nobody will also come to your marriage. Then it was so funny. She started laughing. She said, I'm not getting married, so it's not a big deal for me. But her aspect is different. What I'm saying is, everywhere, why do we have to look at the investment aspect everywhere? Can we guarantee returns without market risks? No, no, all investments subject to market risk. In Srishti also, so many risks are there. More risks than in the stock market. We don't realize it. So we'll have to stop doing that. And Krishna is saying this.
Parents also bring up their children.
Hmm.
This
Yeah.
person.
Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. मेरे तो मेरा FD है, ये तो मेरा investment है. That is what they say. And then what happens when that FD is not honored, when the investment is not honored?
This brings the suffering.
It leads to suffering. I have seen, actually, now we call it Kali Yuga. I have seen a very genuine, hardworking parent, a father, being disrespected so badly by the children, and unfortunately, the mother also was part of that team. So much that they started taking things away, started breaking things in front of me. I had I would say, misfortune to watch it also. But this person was Sthita Pragna. Means so much efforts were being done to disturb and frustrate, and this person said, no, balance was maintained. balance was maintained, but realization has to come, the person will realize. But do we have to individually suffer? No, it's not. And if it is an investment, it is not love, isn't it? Investment is investment. You cannot call it love and then auditor will immediately, Chitragupta auditor is there. He will say, no, this was not love. This was an investment that you did. So you are going to, it's a bad investment. You will decide it. But if it's love, it's not something for return. It's all right. It's all right. Parents should be like, chalo, I have given whatever sanskara. Now I look after myself, children. I have confidence in the sanskara I have given to you. Now you have to stand. You have to rise on your own. Birds will fly out of the nest sometime or the other, isn't it? Can the parents hold on to them? No, you cannot. And that must be required. That is required. So foes of friends, honor, insult, keep it balanced. Keep it balanced both times. Don't get carried away. In all his works, the desire for initiating, sarvarambha parityagi, meaning all the desire for initiation itself has disappeared in that person. One would ask, what is the meaning of this? Does that person not do anything? No. Naham karta, harihi karta, that bhava is there. The divine is functioning. An opportunity presents, this person grabs the opportunity, recognizing not that he is brilliant or she is brilliant because of skill and talent. This opportunity has been presented to me by the universe, by the divine. I will make full advantage of it because the initiation or the ugam is from somewhere else. I am not the source. I am not the initiation. I am just a medium. I am the madhyam. If you are able to see that, then you can actually, because many times in life it's so complex, you don't really realize how the journey of life unfolds. Something happens, you go in one place, another thing happens, it goes elsewhere. Everywhere, how many places you will keep trying to say, take ownership, and you do not know. You'll have to be alert. But a yogi is never says no. A yogi never says no based on preferences. A yogi can do anything which the divine wishes because the yogi is the right instrument of the divine. Yogi wants, the divine wants the yogi to become Raja, yogi will become Raja. If the yogi has to become the beggar according to the divine, the yogi will again become the beggar also there with the same bhava, same approach, same enthusiasm, same sincerity. Because there, all arambha is from the divine. I am not the doer. And such a person is free. Na karma lipyate nare is what Krishna has said. Karma bandhanas also are not going to. Like the lotus leaf, water droplets will not wet the leaf. They will stand like pearls on top of it, but not wet the entire leaf. Krishna Go says such a person has transcended the mortal nature if he is able to. This is a very big challenge, isn't it, in life? But this is important, this is essential, and this is possible. Such a person can be called Gunatit. But then it is not going to be possible for me. It requires a lot of will, a lot of determination. This feeling comes in. But that's not the case. Yes, determination is required, but there's one more secret Krishna is going to share how to become Gunatit. It appears so complicated, but the next shloka says it's actually so simple. Just like how life is also simple. Krishna says, Mam chayo vyabhichareण bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatitetan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. You can reach to that state of the Brahman consciousness. He who loves and yearns for me with his heart, he whose devotion for me has no end or start. Nature's triple modes he can easily breach, and the supreme state he is said to be ready to reach. Krishna is saying this. He says, somebody with bhakti, with love, you can easily become Gunatit. Because love is that singular emotion which can bring about evolution inside of us. It can transform us. It can help us move. It can evolve. And when you channel that love, love from food items to love from, higher than love for food items is higher love for individual. But higher than love for individual is higher is the love for the divine, isn't it? If you can channel it, and divine is a good distributor. He will give you good food items also, and also the person whom you seek also will come in at the right time when it's required. But for channel your love to the divine, that is an important aspect in sadhana. If you can channel it to the divine, and that is easily you can transcend because you are going to be receptive, and Krishna will whisper in your ears, just as he does. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti is what Krishna told Arjuna. greater than the tapasvi, greater than the yogi, greater than the gnani. Who is that person? That person who is practicing yoga integrally, that person who is completely surrendering to the divine, and divine whispers in the ears of that person. And Krishna says, Gunatit, you can become just like that when your heart is accommodating the divine, when your love for the divine is as infinite as the divine. Look at Hanuman. His heart, he had opened and showed, see, Ram and Sita Maya are there inside. That story is there. It shows that the divine is present in the heart, and that is the love which the person is having. So if the divine is infinite, so is my love for the divine. Why am I anyway lesser than Mira? Why am I lesser than any other Tulsi Das? Why am I lesser than anybody else? Because with love, we can become equal, isn't it? And love is about oneness everywhere. So with this, Krishna says a person can easily breach these three modes. He can become gunatit, function with what mode works at what time. And that person is ready to reach the highest state. One small practical example I would like to share was about Damleji only. No, one more factory practical incident. In Pondicherry, we have from the beginning, alcohol has always been cheap, because of which side effect is lot of alcohol consumption, especially rural areas. The males, they have diseases because of consuming alcohol, yet they don't stop. Currently, also two of our factory workers are widows. Their husband drank to their death, despite everything, and not like they have a lot of money or anything of that sort. So this problem is there. So that this was a story maybe 15 years before I joined Damli. That's like probably long back. I maybe 25 years ago. So in the factory where Damliji was, in Zamindar Gardens, there people would the staff would come to work and everything was usual. One day, one of the staff's husband came drunk at the door, and Damliji himself, being a wrestler and all, we can say Jamadagni only. Nobody dared at that time also to speak directly in front of him. And now this person has come. And now he has come at the gate, isn't it? And this is as sacred as a temple where they are making the Ayurvedic medicines. This cannot be tolerated, this kind of force. And this person was known to be verbally abusive, yes, and maybe physically abusive also, only because it's a private matter in the house which cannot be dealt by outside. It was not. But now it's no more a private matter. This man has come to the workplace. So Damle ji, in Indori bhasha, अब तो इसको प्रसाद देना पड़ेगा. And the prasad dena is not like prasad, it is something which is referring to in childhood also in Indore, he would say. When one boy or some men or some youngsters would tease, Eve teasing and all they would do, friends would इकट्ठा, we would come together. चलो इसको अब प्रसाद देने का समय आ गया है. We need to go and teach this person. So Damle ji got annoyed. How can this person do this? And he has come and spoiled the sanctity by standing at the door, shouting out whatever words he was shouting. And so he decided, I'm going to give him something. Everybody got afraid. It's like in the movies show. Everybody were looking at him because now what's he going to do? And being a wrestler, he could even do Dhobi Pachad. Nobody knew what's going to happen. So Damini said, I went with the full intention of giving him one, hitting him on his Marmasthana, giving him one shot, one big in his this portion, nicely, and bring him down to his senses or probably lift him, something that was only what was in his head. He went with full force to do that. He raised his hand also, but suddenly last minute he says, I don't know what happened. I just looked at him and I just looked at his eye and touched his head quietly. Just, just like raised to hit, but touched the head like this and moved his hand over his head lovingly. Although love was not like visible on the outside, he just stared at him and shook his hand like this. This is not correct. Namni says, I was not in control at that time. It was like the divine that was working. I didn't try, he didn't use the word divine working through him, but he said it was not my impulse. I was not reacting only. At that moment, I felt this was the right thing to do. Why it has to be done? We do not know that. He just did that. But this person reacted like he got the biggest hit of his life. He staggered after receiving a touch on his head, and afterwards he apologized to his wife in that night. And the next day she came and said, he has promised to never trouble me. He will not come towards the door of factory anymore. Look at that, what has happened. Here, tamas entered inside of a person. Rajas is going to deal with tamas, means what's going to happen? It might flare up later on. We do not know, but divine is functioning. So this tamas should not be tolerated by injustice. So the force, if you look at in language of forces, Gunatit is there, so a person is able to understand ki chalo, by SOP, this has to be dealt with Rajas. So the person goes, but a person is not Means Damage is not attached to the outcome, not attached to that guna also. So he is able to quickly move. This is better. This is the right way. How will we understand this? Only when we have full surrender, full shraddha, full nishtha, full sincerity towards the divine. Gunatita is easily reached. Divine will function through us, and every moment the divine can function. We unnecessarily deny that moments because of our gunas. We say, Bhagavan, abhi nahi. Abhi time nahi hai. Or Rajas force comes inside of us. Gunatit mode disappears. We have the potential, and when that potential is there, every moment you can experience the touch of the divine. It can be experienced, and this is only the bhaktas can experience it truly, because they are not vibhakta, not separated from the divine. A very young person in a software company, she says, Krishna is helping me. How is Krishna helping? Is he coming doing her work? It's just recently she said she's they all call her scapegoat because she's working very sincerely, but she's not working for somebody else. She's not serving the bosses in her company. She's serving Krishna through her work. How does Krishna get benefited from a software coding? God only knows the ways of working of God. We do not know. But it is her experience that Krishna is helping her for as she's doing the work sincerely. She's experiencing moments where she's able to rise. Somebody called her on the phone and was making a fraud of her, and she could understand it. So very quietly she spoke in sattva for half an hour. And after half an hour, when the person was asking more details, "Hey, don't you realize half an hour I have been wasting your time because I wanted to waste your time. You are frauding a lot of people." And then that person's rajas suddenly started appearing, and then that person disappeared. So these gunas are there at all times. Gunatit mode is possible. Gunatit mode is possible when we surrender, and Krishna says with love, with bhakti, it becomes easy. It is easy. It is actually so simple. Life also can become very simple if we can remove all the baggage that we are carrying, all of the unnecessary sanskaras. Some of the sanskaras are not required. We have to eliminate them. Otherwise, we are only carrying a big burden. Krishna says, why can you become Gunatit, remembering the divine? Because the divine is the foundation. Go to the last shloka. Brahmano hi pratisthaham अमृतस्य व्यवयस्य च शाश्वतस्य च धर्मस्य सुखस्य एकांतिकस्य च. Because I am the eternal foundation, the imperishable and immortal Lord of creation, the timeless code of man, I verily uphold. I am the highest bliss that a mortal can behold. Krishna is saying this. He says, I am the foundation. I am the eternal foundation. I am the immortal Lord of the creation. I am the Prabhu of this Srishti. I am the Shashvata Dharma. I am that Sanatan Dharma. I am the Sanatan element of Dharma, which is keeping it Sanatan. So I am the highest bliss that can be beheld by mortals. So focus on the divine and recognize the gunas, you will become gunatit. That is where Krishna is stopping here in this adhyaya. Next adhyaya, again a different change. Krishna is going to suddenly introduce metaphysical concepts. Now we'll keep seeing shifts. Suddenly metaphysical, suddenly practical. Again, this something Krishna is at work on Arjuna. Why, what, we'll have to see. We know the story of Arjuna, so we know what is the reason he wants this Arjuna to become ready. Because Arjuna is going to face a very, very difficult situation, and it's very essential that Arjuna fully realizes. It is interesting, isn't it? The amount of detail Krishna is taking time, so much time to in the middle of a battlefield. He's taking it because that transformation is required. It is required for whom? It is required for the divine work to go ahead. So with this, I think we can summarize what we saw today and conclude with the Shanti Mantra. Anybody? Yes, please. Yes,
Yes,
Renuji. Yes, ma'am.
So today we got to know about the interplay of the gunas also, how these three gunas play in our life, the forces, and how we can overcome this, the force playing into us, by being very alert, when we are surrendered with love to the Supreme. So Arjun wanted to know about the person who has transcended all these three gunas. How does that person walk, talk, behave? So Krishna explains to him that person with the a person who has transcended all these three gunas is very calm. He is not attached. He is not attached to his actions. Though the actions may seem to be sattvic, rajasic, or tamasic, but that person is not attached to those karmas or the actions. And at the last, he said, how can you transcend these gunas? By being in his presence, by surrendering to the divine, by surrendering all his actions and the fruit of actions to the divine.
Ji, absolutely. Sometimes surrender only becomes difficult, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, no, I'm holding on. What are you holding on? Did you own it? Or who is the owner? If you recognize it, nothing, it's fine. Misa Tukaram said, Divyatvachi jeti prachiti, tethe karam aje zuhati. Wherever I see divinity, my hands will bend, I'll bow to that divine, I'll surrender. But many times Ahankar comes in the way and that we don't realize. So Gunatit is possible. Gunatit can transform our life, and that is one thing. So tomorrow we don't have to say Sattva Guna is like this, Raja Guna is like this, Tama Guna is like this, Divine is like this. He will function in these three gunas. We will have to rise beyond this pull of the three gunas to perform divine works, not be just instruments of these lower forces. Instead, connect with the higher Prakriti, what they say, Para Prakriti or the Purusha, or different names. So many classifications are there. So we'll see now. Krishna then goes into the 15th Adhyay. He's going to introduce a concept which Carl Jung found very interesting. Something about an inverted tree. He's the father of psychoanalysis. Modern psychoanalysis, all medical field, they learn about him. There's an interesting concept in the next Adhyay which the person is able to relate. So with this, I think we'll conclude with Shanti Mantra. Hari Om. Thank you. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kasyit dukkha bhag bhavet. Hari Om Tatsat. Krishnam Vande Jagadguru. Jai Shri Krishna. Hari Om. If there are no queries, I'll conclude with conclude the session.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Namaste. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Jai Shri Krishna.
Jai Shri Krishna. Namaste. Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir.
Hari Om ji. Hari Om. Yes, ji. Hari Om.